You messaged me a couple days ago, the same day as Amir. You were actually, Jamie, I got to give you credit. You're the one that broke the news to me that Kurt Angle is getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. I checked my phone. I wasn't on Twitter
really?
for like a day, and I saw that you sent me a DM, and I got a notification on my phone. You said, "Oh, now I got to come on the show that Kurt Angle's going to the Hall of Fame." I'm like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? Then I went on Twitter and I saw the news. I'm like, holy shit, the Mac is back all right with the Kurt Angle news. So I got to give you credit for breaking the news to me, but I started freaking the hell out. It was nuts, but no better time. I think it worked out perfectly because I would love to have you on the show here today to talk about Angle getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame over WrestleMania 33 weekend. It's going to be huge. So, Jamie, what were your initial thoughts when Angle was announced to be the next inductee in the Hall of Fame over WrestleMania weekend?
Man, I was at work when I found out the news. I read some messages in a group chat that I'm in, and like the folks in there were saying like, man, Kurt's going in the, Kurt's going in the Hall of Fame, over Mania weekend, and like my first thought was like, okay, this has got to be a Meltzer rumor. This has got to be like a Dolphins 925 thing or 1925, whatever his handle is.
Yeah,
it's like there's no. It's like okay, no, there can't be. And then I get a notification from the WWE app because the only reason I got that stupid thing is for the network. But anyways, I got an alert from them saying breaking news: Kurt Angle's going to the Hall of Fame. I was like, okay, I guess this. All right, this isn't a lie. This is the real thing. And like this is probably the most deserving Hall of Fame spot in not like a long time, but definitely Angle is up there in the list of people that absolutely deserve this spot. I mean, I was just overjoyed. I mean, like, I was so happy, because Kurt is in that small list for me that I just wanted to see come back for such a long time, and now for the second year in a row, like two people on that list are now back. Shane last year, and now Kurt. So really, I'm just overjoyed. Like, I could not be like more like amped up for this. I love it.
I mean, you said it right there. I mean, every single year we've had some big names in the Hall of Fame. Last year it was Sting. The year before that, Savage, although he's now passed away, obviously. The year before that, Warrior. And the list goes on. And every year it's pretty much not obvious or like, oh, we knew that they were going to be inducted, but it's like, okay, Sting, when he got inducted, it's not like he was debuting in WWE when he got inducted. He was already with the company for about a year and a half by that point. Warrior had done the video game. San Martino was kind of a shock, but for the most part, Savage, you knew it was only inevitable. But with Kurt Angle, first of all, no one saw this coming, which was one of those great surprises in wrestling. And you mentioned it right there, too. Shane McMahon, no one fucking saw that coming when he came back a year ago. That was not rumored. That was not reported. That came completely out of nowhere, even for the wrestling journalists across the internet. It was crazy. This is kind of the same thing. Got a similar reaction. And it's not like Kurt Angle had done the video game a year ago or appeared on Raw or something a couple months ago. This will be his premiere appearance back. Assuming he doesn't debut, or not debut obviously, but return before then in the Rumble or on Raw. I assume they're saving his appearance for Mania weekend. We'll see. To me, it seemed like it was a last-minute thing. I don't know if they had someone else and they turned it down. I don't really know. Just to me, and from what Angle said in various interviews over the last couple of days, it seemed like he got called that same day, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. And he said yes, and they made the announcement that night. And the video package they put together was great. It gave me goosebumps when they sang, when they chanted "You Suck" on Raw. Just incredible. And they
many memories, man.
So many memories. And they aired the similar video package the next night on SmackDown. They kind of altered it a bit to add in some of the comedy parts. So it was interesting. It seemed like it was a last-minute thing. If not, I mean, I don't know why it would not have been rumored ahead of time. I know people have been saying for a while Angle's coming back, but people have been saying that for a year now since he left TNA. But that being said, do you see Kurt Angle making an appearance in WWE on the program at any point before WrestleMania weekend?
If I were running like this whole thing, to be honest, okay, like if I had to have him appear at any point, I would probably do it off camera. Like, I know there's a SmackDown coming up in Pittsburgh, I think in March or something. Like, I haven't heard anything about what's happening there. I haven't heard like any possible appearances, whatever. But yeah, like I would have him do something like, just come out at like the end of the SmackDown show or whatever. Like, let's say like I don't know, like have like Miz be in there, like cutting a promo on the crowd, like saying this and that, like, or whatever. I mean, like Miz is amazing, so like he could totally do it. And then just have Angle come out, like put him in the ankle lock or something. I mean, like the crowd would pop huge. WWE would get so many views for that. I mean, like really, like that would be the main thing that I would do for him. But as far as that goes, I just wait until the actual Hall of Fame ceremony, because like really, like this is going to be his first appearance back on WWE television in, oh my gosh, it'll be almost like 11 years. And like, that right there is the proper place. Like have him come out, and I hope they give him as long as they want for a speech. Like if he wants to talk for 2 hours, give him 2 hours. I'll sit down and listen like I'm 10 years old again. So but yeah, like that would be the main thing that I would do for Kurt. But had I done it a different way, honestly, I would have had him be I guess like a quote unquote surprise in the Rumble match, and then the next night on Raw announce Kurt's going into the Hall of Fame. That's the way I personally would have done it. But like, I totally get why they broke the news the way that they did. WWE is all about trending now. Like ever since they've gone crazy with social media, like they want this story to trend all over the internet, or like they want Kurt Angle to be the most searched term on like ESPN's website. I totally get that. But yeah, like that's pretty much where I stand on that.
So who do you see inducting Kurt Angle? There's been a couple candidates from what I've seen online, from among fans anyway, nothing officially reported, but I've heard maybe Edge or Christian, but I heard Christian might be going in, so I don't know how well that works, and obviously Edge would induct him, so I don't know if that kind of rules them out. There's talk of Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's a couple, I mean, Brock Lesnar, I don't know if he would want to do it, but there's a couple different options. Who would you have induct Kurt Angle into the Hall of Fame?
Well, if Christian goes in, this is going to be the best class ever.
I know, that's what I was thinking too, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Edge and Christian would make sense because of the whole team, the team Eck thing that that they did back in 2000. Really, for me, I would either. Okay, like there's three possible choices for me. Number one being Lesnar. And honestly, I don't think Lesnar would be against doing it because, like, as far as I know, Lesnar and Kurt are still really, really solid friends. So, like, and, like, I get it. Lesnar doesn't like people, yada, yada, yada. But, like, if he's up there and he's talking about someone he genuinely cares about, I don't think Lesnar's going to have a problem with that. My second option, and most people have not mentioned her, but but what about Stephanie McMahon? because like
okay.
because of the little program that him, her, and Hunter had back in 2000 when Kurt was feuding with them over I think it was him, Triple H, and I think The Rock was in there too for the world title. I mean, like that, and like they're and just like their chemistry there was great. My third one, Austin, which totally makes sense. I mean, really, if you need any other reason, just search Steve Austin and Kurt Angle after Triple H tours Quad, because those two and Vince had some of the funniest segments I've ever seen in my life. I mean, with the cowboy hats and the guitar and whatnot, like it just proved even more that Angle, he was not only a great in-ring worker, he is such a geek, and he plays it so well. I mean, really, so yeah. But out of those three, I'm actually leaning a little bit towards Lesnar, to be honest, because I think that, I think that it would just make sense, honestly. But really, with those three, I'd be happy with either of them.
Yeah, I think all three make sense. Lesnar would be cool just to see him kind of out of that environment of terms and being just kind of the most threatening force in WWE in addition to Goldberg right now. But to have him induct Angle, considering the fact that arguably Angle had Lesnar's best feud in WWE, I think it would only make sense, the matches they had throughout 2002, 2003, 04. So it would only make sense from that ruthless aggression period that both guys kind of spotlighted back in the day. And of course, at the same time, people of this whole induction has brought up many questions for Angle in terms of whether this means the end of his in-ring career. I know Angle, from what I've heard anyway, has no plans of slowing down anytime soon. He's still doing matches. He's still wrestling for WCPW, I believe. I know he's doing indie dates up here in the Northeast in the next couple months. So he is by no means slowed down since leaving TNA about a year ago. But very rarely, and only on one other occasion, has a Hall of Famer come out of retirement or come out of, be inducted and then wrestle another match, which to me is the reason why The Rock hasn't gone in yet. That's obviously one of the most biggest omissions from the Hall of Fame currently is The Rock, but I feel like it's because he feels like his in-ring career is not yet over in WWE. Shawn Michaels, we saw that with Edge, so many others. The only other occasion where a Hall of Famer was inducted and then wrestled was Ric Flair, and he retired the next day anyway. So, I mean, it's very possible they could do one more match. I think it's very possible they could do one more run, if that's what he's capable of, and I believe he is. And the physical thing, the fact that he wouldn't pass the physical, to me makes no sense, just because they have the Goldberg, of course, at the moment, who is 50 years old. So that to me doesn't make any sense. I guess we'll see where it goes. But yeah, so do you think we could see one more match from Kurt Angle at WWE WrestleMania, whether it be against an AJ Styles or a Samoa Joe or someone from the current roster in WWE?
I think that if WWE wants it, Kurt is going to jump at it like nothing. Because, I think he's actually stated in the past few days that, his current deal is just for him to show up at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and then that's it. But he is certainly not against working one more match, or hell, even another run. And honestly, I don't even care if it's a part-time run. Part-time is fine. I know it's becoming the trend that people are dreading right now, but let's be honest, there are many guys that actually deserve that part-time schedule, and Kurt Angle is one of those guys. There was actually one idea that I think I saw in a video or I read it somewhere, but I thought that it was a really, really awesome idea. Was that, let's say Angle signs on, a new deal, after the ceremony and Mania weekend and whatnot. I know Foley is supposed to go in for hip replacement surgery at some point.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure how long he's supposed to be out for that, but someone had mentioned, what if Kurt takes Foley's place as GM on Raw?
I've seen that idea pitched. I mean, just the fact that Kurt Angle could be inducted at the same time and then be the new Raw GM. I mean, I've said for a while, though, just because, I mean, whether it's Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, it could be Bob Backlund, it could be Brock Lesnar. It doesn't really matter who it is. Stephanie McMahon is always going to emasculate that babyface, whoever the GM might be. So it's unfortunate. So, I mean, I do want to see him back in an on-air role at some point, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown. I wouldn't want to see Daniel Bryan replaced just because he's been so great in that role. But yeah, I think an on-air role for Kurt Angle at some point is only inevitable just because he has so much worth to the company, whether it be as a GM, even more so than a trainer. I mean, I know Daniel Bryan could have been brought back as a trainer, but bringing back Angle, I mean, that's why he was brought back as an on-air GM, because he still has a lot more to contribute to the business beyond just being a behind-the-scenes, a producer or a trainer or whatever else. But yeah, I feel like one more match is definitely plausible. We'll see in the weeks and months to come. If they don't announce something closer to WrestleMania, it's still early January. It's only been 3 to 4 months, or 3 to 4 days since they announced that he was going to the Hall of Fame. So it's still very possible they could announce something as it gets closer to WrestleMania. So we'll certainly see. But for the time being, though, I think it will be cool to see what the future holds for Kurt Angle. And if they do bring him in for one more match at WrestleMania, like I said, an AJ Styles or whoever it might be, might make for a great match. But